Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do a very late ranking of all the 2024 movies I saw. I saw 55 movies, I believe, and I'm just going to be briefly listing each one. It'll probably be a longer video because of how many movies I watched, but yeah, let's get straight into it. So let's start with some honorable mentions. I mean, not really honorable. It's just the two movies that I started and just couldn't finish because they were bad. That would be Argyle, and I saw the TV glow. Argyle was just, it was all around just, it was not there. I wasn't really sure what was going on 90% of the time, and like the humor was just so dry. And I saw the TV glow was the most boring movie I've ever watched. And like it was like I was halfway through and I was like nothing's happened. Like not even a little bit. And I don't understand why everybody loves it. Maybe because it's artsy and it just looks cool. And it barely even looks cool. I don't know. But yeah, those two are my not really well liked movies. So now we're just in the section of movies that were bad but I was able to get through. I watched the whole movies. Some of these I was kind of forced to watch the whole because I was like at the movies per this next one. So let's start at number 54. That would be Cuckoo. Cuckoo was not a good horror movie at all. It was really terribly acted. The storyline was just dumb, and like it wasn't even scary. Like it had one really good jump scare, and that was all. I didn't enjoy watching it. I was kind of just forced into being there. Like I couldn't turn it off. It was a rough watch all around. So at 53, I got Arthur the King. This one was just, it was boring. I was really excited for it because it was Mark Wahlberg and it seemed like a fun idea. And it was based off of a true story. But it was just like, I don't know, it was very forgetful. Like that's really all it was. It was just super forgetful. And this is also ranked off of my enjoyability rates, not how good that movie actually was. I just didn't enjoy it all that much. And at 52, we got A Family Affair with Zac Efron. That movie was just weird. Like, it made me uncomfortable. It was a weird, like, rom com that was kind of just Zac Efron looking for more clout than he already has. And it was not executed well at all. At 51, we got M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. This was like, I was really hoping it was going to be a good movie. And to be fair, Josh Hartnett was actually amazing in it. I loved Josh Hartnett. He was terrifying. But my God, was this a stupid movie. Like, there were 20 million plot holes. And, like, nothing ever made sense. M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, who plays the pop star, is a terrible actress. And it wasn't well written. The ending was dumb. I didn't like it at all. At number 50, we got Despicable Me 4. What an unneeded sequel to a trilogy. Like, the third one was. I like the third one, most people don't. The third one was like a good closing. We didn't need it. And then the fourth one was just. It was there. It was forgetful. All of the weird mutant minions were like pointless. Like, it just. It was weird. I didn't like it, like, at all. I kind of wish I did. At number 49, we have The Crow. I really wanted to like this movie because Bill Skarsgård is one of my favorite actors, and I love Bill Skarsgård, but it was terrible. It was absolutely horrible. Everything about this movie except for one scene was absolutely garbage. And the one scene where he just wrecks lives in the, like, opera, that was the scene that caused this not being, like, last or something, because this was a terrible, terrible movie. At number 48, we have Stream. This had a lot of people from Terrifier, specifically Terrifier 3. And it was bad. Terrible acting, really low budget. I tend to like the low budget films, but it was like the acting was terrible. And the main, like, dad, garbage. But they had some pretty gnarly kills. I'll give them that. Number 47 is Godzilla X Kong. This was like, it was rough. Like, I was really hoping it would be good because Godzilla's awesome. But they tried to make it funny, and, like, it wasn't. and it was serious, and then the fights weren't really that cool, but they were kind of cool, and the acting was just, and the story was just definitely not there at all. So now we're in the section of like mediocre, forgetful movies. Like these weren't terrible, but they're definitely not good movies. Starting off, we've got Sting at number 46. Sting was just, it was all right. I actually enjoyed it, and it was better than I thought it was going to be because the first like 15, 20 minutes is just not good. But I mean, I was intrigued and I was like caring about the family the entire time. I wasn't the biggest fan. Number 45 is Fly Me to the Moon from Channing Tatum. It's it's a decent movie. It's fun to watch. It's just so forgetful and boring, and like I know I say a lot of movies are boring, but this one is also just it didn't keep me hooked like it should have. Like the acting was good. It was an interesting premise. I was hooked in like when they were faking the moon landing and all of that, but it wasn't as good as I had hoped. Now at number 44, we have the Sam and Colby movie that they actually released to the theaters. It was it was all right. Like it was just found footage, but it was found footage without like the actual found footage part of like being scary. It was just, hey, we heard something, but conveniently the sound wasn't on, and I don't know what you're talking about. Um, yeah, so it was alright. I didn't hate it. 44. At 43, we have Killer's Game. I actually was super excited for this one because it seemed intriguing, the idea of an assassin putting a bounty on himself because he has cancer. And this movie was so back and forth between really good and really bad. Like, there were some really good action scenes. It was really entertaining. And then there were other scenes that were, like, really rough acting-wise, like, including David Bautista. But I didn't hate it. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed myself while I was watching it. At 42, we have Incoming. Incoming was like a sitcom type movie, a teenager movie. It was weird. There was a lot going on. Um, but it was enjoyable. It's so forgetful. I've pretty much forgotten the entire plot already, and I only watched it in October or somewhere around that. And yeah, so there's not much for me to say, but I remember enjoying it. Now we're at the pretty good movies. Like I didn't love them, but I definitely enjoyed them more than I disliked them. But at number 41, we have If. If was a movie with John Krasinski and Steve Carell. That's his name, Steve Carell. And it was a fun movie. Actually, it was fun to watch, and I really enjoyed all the imaginary friends and everything. It was super fun. Now we have Twisters at number 40. And Twisters was a really fun watch. Glenn Powell was amazing in it. It was pretty much just the same story as the first one, but like it was enjoyable. The cinematography was just beautiful. I really liked it. At 39, we have Red One. Don't fight me for having Red One as high as I do. Red One was actually enjoyable. Okay, Chris Evans was fun. So was what's his name? Um, like a part of this everybody a part of this production was just amazing. At 38, I have Blink Twice. I didn't enjoy this movie as much as everybody else did. I just don't think I was like the audience for it. It was slow. It was boring. It was intriguing, I'll give you that. Um, and their scenes at the end, I can't say it on YouTube. That like they were pretty insane, but I didn't love it as much as everybody else did. It was still a great movie though. Or it was still a good movie though. At 37, we have In a Violent Nature. This movie was like it was weird. It was really gnarly. Like I felt sick watching the kills. Like there's one kill, spoiler alert, I already gave that at the beginning of the video. There's one scene where the guy has his hook, he puts it through her stomach. He like grabs her head and like puts her head through her stomach. Like you can just imagine that. That wasn't fun to watch. I mean, it was cool. I mean, cool in like not a creepy way. But yeah, they did it in the eyes of the killer rather than the eyes of the victims, which I don't believe was as impactful as they believed it would be. But it was still very, very intriguing, and I actually enjoyed the movie. Number 35 is Carry On, this new like Christmas movie that just released. I actually really liked it. Like, a lot of people didn't, and I feel like it was a very cool idea, and I loved the fight scene on like the like suitcase inside of the plane type thing. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It was super cool, and the idea was awesome. There were some scenes that were like, oh, that was weird, but I mean, it was fine. And the one scene where the girl was fighting the like Russian dude in the car, that was cool, even though it looked like a video game. I still thought it was very cool. Number 35 is Abigail. This was a very intriguing horror movie about a vampire ballerina, and the gore and violence was actually very fun. It was a fun take on vampires, and the twists and stuff they had were a tad bit predictable, but it was still enjoyable. I liked it. At 34, we have Immaculate. I didn't like this movie as much as a lot of people had. I think it's because I don't know. I'm not really sure. I can't back it up. I mean, completely honest. I just maybe was in a bad mood that day and didn't enjoy it as much as I should have. But I still enjoyed it. It was a good movie. It was very weird how they like believed that she was almost like the next like Mary, because she was gonna like give birth to something, and then she gave birth to like the devil. And it was, yeah, it was weird, but I liked it. Number 33 is Maxine. This was the underwhelming part of the X trilogy, because X and Pearl were actually amazing. Maxine was pretty good. I liked it. It still was fun to watch. It wasn't as good as I had been hoping, if that makes sense. It was a tad bit boring. I know I say this about a lot of movies. I swear I don't have an attention span of a goldfish. I actually love watching movies, and I don't realize they're boring until after I'm done watching them. But yeah, I mean, it was all right. I still liked it. It was still fun. Number 32 is actually Moana 2. Please don't fight me for this. I have my reasoning. I was just in a particular good mood in that day too, so that's probably a good factor. But I felt like the story made a lot of sense, and they made the right amount of callbacks to the first movie, but they didn't rely on the callbacks, and it was a new story. So I actually really liked it, and it wasn't like it didn't feel dumb or forced. I was scared because it wasn't really needed to be a sequel, but it was a lot better than I expected. Next, we have at 31 Kung Fu Panda 4. I actually watched this way later after release, but I really liked it. I know a lot of people didn't, but I did. It was a really good animated sequel. I felt like they did well. I think they utilized the old villains pretty well. I think they overused them a little bit, but I really liked it. And even though I should have, I didn't see that what's her name, Aquafina's character was bad. Yeah, I liked it. At 30, I have Speak No Evil. I enjoyed this more than a lot of people did, and I think that's because I have not seen the Danish version, and I didn't want to because they were making this. Now I want to see it, but my God, the entire main family, they irritated the crap out of me. It was making me mad how, like, intolerant they were, and, like, they were just, like, taking everything. There were so many weird stuff, and they'd just be like, oh, it's all right. It's just foreign to us. Like, oh, that made me mad. But it was a really good movie. At 29, again, don't fight me. I have Mufasa. The score was terrible. Completely take away the score and soundtrack. This is a good movie. I enjoyed it. They went a different route than you thought they would for Scar's downfall, even though it was kind of cliche. But I thought it was a good movie. Songs were terrible, though. Hated the songs. Don't want to talk about the songs. At 28, we have The Wild Robot. Oh, this was a great movie, though. I love The Wild Robot. Animated movies just aren't my thing, so that's why it's kind of as low as it is. But I loved The Wild Robot. It was a great movie. I loved the story. It was cute. It was emotional. It was really good. I liked The Wild Robot. 27, we have The Substance. I know everybody's going to be angry I have The Substance at 27 because 27's low for how great of a movie this is. I will not take away. This is an amazing movie. Based off of like production and everything, top 10 movie, maybe top 5 movie. But body horror, not my type of horror. I still love to go watch it because it's cool to see how gnarly and gross it is. But this one was like, my jaw was sore from it being dropped the entire movie. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. So that's why it's as low, is because of just how gross it was. But it was still such a good movie. At number 26, we have Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. This was a super fun bring back of the Beverly Hills Cop series. I loved it. Had a lot of fun watching it. They made a good amount of callbacks with a lot of updated jokes too, so it didn't feel out of place. Yeah, it was super fun. I loved Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Number 25 is Bad Boys Ride or Die, another series that was brought back in 2024. This one was also super fun, and I thought it was hilarious. I loved the main two actors. I'm not going to try to think of their names right now, but they were hilarious. And the story and plot was actually still really entertaining. I absolutely loved this one. Number 24 is Roadhouse. I loved Roadhouse. It has my favorite actor, Jake Gyllenhaal, so that might be a reason why I loved it. I just thought it was super good. I loved how blunt Gyllenhaal's character was. Conor McGregor was hilarious. I feel like it was a good remake of the original Roadhouse without feeling like it blatantly copied it or like blatantly ruined it. It felt really fun. I loved Roadhouse. Number 23, we have Inside Out 2, which I thought was gonna honestly be not that good because it wasn't really needed to be a sequel. But I feel like the take on teenage drama and all of that and like the mentality and everything and anxiety, everything with that was so good that it was like, it felt like it was needed without being needed, if that makes any sense. And I absolutely loved it. Number 22 is A Quiet Place Day 1, which was also great with Joseph Quinn. He was definitely the best part of this movie. So was, what's her name, the main actress. I loved it. It was so good. And it was a new, unique spin on A Quiet Place that I didn't know they could go. I felt entertained the whole time. And the final scene where he's running with the cat was so emotional. And then when she just turns her music on blast, like, it was so good. Number 21 is Beetlejuice, the revival of this movie. It felt super fun. Michael Keaton was obviously the best part of it. Beetlejuice will always be. I'm not a big fan of the first one because I don't feel like there's enough Beetlejuice. But this one, I felt like there was enough Beetlejuice, and it felt entertaining. And Jenna Ortega was good in it. The twists, a little predictable, but it was still fun to watch. So now we're in our top 20, with our number 20 being Transformers 1, which I believe is like one of the best animated movies of our time, of the 2020s. It was so good. It was well created, and the story was super good. I didn't see it in theaters because I thought it was geared to little kids, and when I watched it, like, in, like, my home, I was so wrong. That movie was so good. Number 20. At number 19, you're gonna have to bear with me on these next two. Number 19, we have Venom: The Last Dance. I'm sorry, but this movie was way better than everybody said it was. The final scene was just so good. The killing of Venom was perfect. Like, I absolutely loved this movie, even though a lot of people didn't. And I don't really know why. Like, I felt like the story was there, the action was there. There was only one plot hole that I really noticed, and that was why Venom just randomly was dancing with the one lady and knowingly just bring everything there. But otherwise, I really, really loved this movie. Bear with me again, but at number 18, I have Joker Folie à Deux. This was also like, I almost wonder if people hated it just because it had music in it, but the music made absolute sense. Like, the music made sense to have in there. Like, it is a known fact that insane people, music just connects with their brains really well, and that's what it came off as to me. Like, Joker and Harley Quinn were insane, and their brains were working with the thing. And everybody argued that the fan theory was actually real, and I don't think that was a bad thing. Like, and Joker not being the real Joker and just having a big impact, like, that makes sense. And he still had a big impact. Like, it doesn't completely take away everything, because without him, there would be no, like, real Joker, if that makes any sense. At number 17, I have Oddity. This was a really good horror movie that kind of flew under the radar. The wax statue scared the crap out of me the entire time. I think this movie had the greatest jump scare to me in the tent. I felt really paranoid after watching this movie. Normally I don't. I was on call with someone during this, and they just saw me getting jump scared like every 3 minutes. Yeah, I really liked Oddity. Number 16 is Wicked, which says a lot about somebody who's not a huge musical fan, or like even whimsical or like fantasy type fan. But it was really good. Ariana Grande was absolutely hilarious in it. The main girl was also, like, she was amazing. I just felt like the story was told really well, and like the downfall of everything was so good. I absolutely loved Wicked. At number 15, unfortunately, I have Dune Part 2. I think I'm just not the biggest, like, fantasy type fan, so Dune isn't as cool to me as everybody else says it is. Um, that's why I don't really love, like, Harry Potter or like, that type of stuff as much as others. But it was still a really good movie, and the main bad guy, I suddenly forget his name, was so cool, and the black and white fight scene in like the Colosseum was awesome. So it was still a great, great, great movie. I loved Dune Part 2. Number 14 is Fall Guy. I didn't realize how good that movie was going to be. It bombed in the box office. I think nobody was really intrigued by it, but it was a really good take on stunt doubles, and like, but with a weird spy type twist to it. It was really cool. I loved Fall Guy and like all the disasters and fights and all of it. It was so cool. Number 13 is Terrifier 3. This is definitely the best out of the franchise. The franchise gets better as each movie goes. This one actually had story, which was kind of weird. Like, I actually cared about each one of the characters, unlike the last two. And the kills were just brutal. Like, the freeze one on the Santa Claus, and the one where the rats, like, you know what I'm talking about with rats, and the chainsaw one in the shower. You also know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. Like, all of those were so gnarly, but the story was actually there, and I really, really liked it. Yeah, Terrifier 3 at 13. Number 12 is Late Night with the Devil. Late Night with the Devil was actually so good. It wasn't as good as other found footage horror films. This next one I'm going to talk about is actually another found footage horror film. But it was still intriguing, and the twists and confusions were also really good. The little girl, like, going full demon and killing his friend and everything at the end, and like making him see stuff. Like, all of that was so good. I loved Late Night with the Devil. Number 11, barely missing out on top 10, is probably my favorite found footage horror film I've ever watched, called Milk and Cereal. A lot of people don't know of this movie because it was actually released on YouTube and by comedians, actually. And this movie was such a crazy, like, everything was so insane, and like you were confused on what's prank and what wasn't. And it was such a good found footage film, and like the ending was beautiful, all of that. And it was only made on $800. That's all. And it's free on YouTube. You should totally go watch it because most people haven't seen it. Yeah, it was amazing. Now with top 10, we've got It's What's Inside at number 10. This was a Netflix released movie about this guy who figures out how to make people's consciousness switch bodies. And it was such a good, like, thriller horror movie type thing. It was so intriguing. I was lost the entire time. The twists were just beautiful every time. It really kept you on your toes. It's What's Inside was such a good movie. Number 9 is Sonic 3. I saw this with Noise, and I have no regretful decisions to see this with Noise because he was the funnest person to watch this with. It was so funny. Jim Carrey as Robotnik was amazing as ever. Keanu Reeves as Shadow was a great casting. The jokes, it was definitely still geared to little kids as well, but it was also darker than the other two, which was kind of surprising. Yeah, I loved Sonic 3 though. Number 8, I have Gladiator 2. This movie was so good. Like, it was long, and I didn't notice it was long until I looked it up after I saw the movie. And everyone in it was amazing. Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, Denzel Washington definitely needs to win some sort of Oscar for this. It was just so well put together and such a good sequel. And it was like, I loved it. Like, it was so well put together. Number 7 is Nosferatu. This movie was great. It was creepy. It was scary. The acting was amazing. It was bizarre. Like, Nosferatu getting to the girl and, like, just making the main dude so, like, self-conscious of himself was kind of funny, but not. It was such a good, creepy movie. And, like, it, like, bothered a lot of people because of, like, how scary it was. And that says a lot about your movie when you're that good. Number 6 is Alien Romulus. This movie was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like, it was amazing. I felt like it was a super cool spin and twist on the Alien franchise. And the kills were just kind of insane. Yeah. Like, I remember there was one kill where he, like, gets acid dripped on, like, his stomach and it caves in. Like, that was pretty insane. Yeah, Alien Romulus was awesome. Now, top 5. We finally reached top 5. Number 5, we've got Longlegs. Longlegs, I thought was going to be my number 1 or 2 movie of the year. But then there were a lot of really good horror movies that released after it. But Longlegs was super good. Nicolas Cage's performance was just outstanding, and creepy, and it gave me and my father an icky feeling going home. I also saw this with Griffin and Mac. You remember them from previous videos. I saw it with them and they loved it. And Griffin's father too. And it gave us all like an icky feeling going home. Like, it was weird. Number 4 is Smile 2. Smile 2 was such a good, like, sequel to the movie. It was a little cliche at points, but, like, that's horror. And I feel like the ending was insane, and it set up so well for a pandemic. And it was scary. The acting was, like, outstanding. I just loved it. Number 3, we have Heretic. Heretic had everyone questioning all of their life choices. Like, it was actually insane. Like, it was so good and well thought out of, like, making you really think about what these little, about what your, like, beliefs are. Even though, like, you know you're not going to question them over one movie. But it was still good, and it was still scary. Like, it was terrifying. It scared the crap out of me. It was really well thought out, and Hugh Grant gave the performance of the year with this one. Like, it was so good. Number 2 is definitely Strange Darling. Strange Darling is the best horror movie of the year. It was so good. It was really well thought out, and the different chapters they did was amazing in, like, different orders, so you weren't really sure what was going on till the end. Spoilers, if you really want to watch this one, please don't watch this part of the review. But it was insane that, like, the entire time you're like, oh, this guy's bad, he's a weirdo. Smoking, or, like, doing drugs, doing bad things while he's driving and chasing this woman down. And then it gets revealed that she's actually the crazy one, and, like, he's just surviving. Like, it was so crazy, and I loved it. Now, the number 1 movie of 2024 definitely has to be Deadpool and Wolverine. It was such a good, like, bring MCU back movie. Deadpool and Wolverine were such a good dynamic. Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, they were perfect with each other. I loved Channing Tatum as Gambit. They brought back Blade. All of it. It was all amazing. I loved it. It was so fun. And the ending, the villain, literally everything about this movie was just beautiful. And I saw it twice. Once with Griffin. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this long video. I'm gonna start doing more movie reviews in the future. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry this took so long to post, but I'll see you guys tomorrow in my next video. Bye bye.